This video is basically an audio file, but I have added some important photos. If you want to listen to the podcast, check out bigbenshow.podomatic.com or email me at ben@thebigbenshow.com and I'll send you the audio file. Alright, let's get back to the video. Hello, welcome, it is I, Big Ben, and today we're talking to Edmund Khong, who works as Captain Dazzle and Captain Bubbles in Singapore. He's a brilliant clown, and he's just been, he's won a world championship. Woo! Alright, let's go and talk to Edmund.
Yes.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
All-round World Clown Champion of the Year, 2017.
Yes. That's right.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Alright, let's get right into it, because you've got a show later on today.
Yeah.
So, if there's someone who doesn't know who you are and what you do, what do you tell them? What do you say is your job?
Alright, so I'm a kid show comedy entertainer.
Yeah.
So I use a variety of different things. So I do clowning.
Yeah.
I do juggling.
Yep.
I do magic.
Yep.
I do puppetry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow. And just a very important self-promotion. Where can we find you on the internet? You've got lots of sites.
Yes. There are just two main ones.
Okay.
www.captaindazzle.com.
Okay.
So that's the first one. And the other one is www.singaporeclown.com.
Singapore Clown, that's a great one to have.
Yes,
It's your country.
right,
yeah,
Yes.
you've got a good site there.
Yes. Because in Singapore, I think I'm the only one who does clowning with the full works.
Yes.
Yeah, the wig, the clown nose,
Mm.
the full clown makeup. Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Okay. How did you get started? You're younger than me, I think. Definitely.
Yes. By about 6 months, I think. No.
I think a lot younger.
Yeah. So I've always been interested in performing since I was a child.
Yeah.
Maybe about 8 years old. So in Singapore, we have this Chinese New Year, the Lunar New Year.
Yeah.
And then we'll go around visiting our families
Yeah.
and relatives. That's the time I will take out my my magic box and do magic tricks and show my relatives and all. So that's how I started. When I grew older, when I was in college,
Yeah.
I started to do street performance together with side by side with Roy Payama.
Oh yes, I've interviewed him.
Yeah, so he's like one of my earliest teachers and influencers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also learned quite a bit from Paul Cole.
I know who he is.
Yeah. Yeah. So who was Singapore? Who also portrayed Singapore's Ronald McDonald.
Yes, he was Singapore's Ronald McDonald in the 1990s.
Yes, in the 90s. That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're influenced by those two.
Yes.
And also, I mean, people who don't know Singapore's got a reputation as being sort of business oriented, quite serious. I know that it's actually got a very fun,
Yes.
a fun feel to Singapore. But nevertheless, it is a strange career for a Singaporean to get into.
Yes.
So, was it a big jump for you to decide to do this full time?
What happened was that when I was in college, I was already running my business.
You studied history and religion, is that right?
Yes.
I studied history.
That's right. Yeah. So I've got this. I also stayed in the dormitories, and then I was well known for being they call me a part-time student and a full-time worker.
Oh,
Because I'm actually spending a lot more time on my work rather than on my studies.
you mean work as in clown work and
Yes,
shows?
that's right. Yeah. Because usually it's the other way around.
Yeah.
The college students will usually study full-time,
Yeah.
and then they'll work part-time.
Oh, you were the other way around.
So I'm like the reverse of it.
And
So what happened was that it wasn't too difficult for me to enter the business when I finished my college, because the business was actually booming.
Was it the 1990s or later?
Let me see, I think it was the 2005.
Yeah, 2005.
Yeah.
And the business, there was definitely a market in Singapore
Yes,
at that moment.
especially in the birthday party entertainment circuit.
Right, yes. Yes, I know. In broad terms, for me, my biggest years in Singapore were 1995 to 2005, doing things like shopping centres and corporate shows. But by about 2005, those ones had already peaked. And I think, yes, birthday parties were taking off. And I found that it's been the same, pretty much the same in countries like Hong Kong, where I am now. The entertainers in Hong Kong, 95 to 2005, the shopping centres wanted them. But after 2005, it was the birthday parties that really took over.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's definitely a market. Okay. How do you deal with the different kind of venues you get? So sometimes you're going to turn up and there'll be no space, for example, or no room.
Usually what I will do if I'm doing a stage performance, whereby there's already going to be an event organizer who has got his or her own sound system, and stage. Usually I will put in all my requirements in the email way before the event itself.
Yeah.
And another thing that I do is that I will arrive at the venue as early as I can, maybe about 45 or about half an hour before the show. So that I take a look and make sure that all the stuff that I need they are already there. Another thing I like to do is that when I arrive early, I actually say hello to the crowd. I actually do a bit of close-up magic with them.
Yes.
Build a bit of rapport.
I agree. It's such a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Do a little bit of clowning around at the side.
That's right.
Just getting involved with the crowd, poking your head around the corner.
Yes.
And then when you're on stage.
As long as we are not interfering with the main program on stage.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your requirements? So one of your acts I've seen on YouTube, it's fantastic, is that you have a lovely giant balloon, and a bright yellow balloon.
Which is also an act which you do.
Oh well, yeah, I think again we have to thank Roy Thomas Pynard. He was the first person in Singapore, I think, to do it.
Who was it? Was it Roy?
I think Roy was the first Singaporean to do it.
Yes. I actually learned quite a bit about that from him.
Yeah, me too.
I think the way we present the act is different. I think Roy Payama, he will present it in a fairly artistic.
Yes.
For me, I will incorporate my clowning into the balloon.
Yeah.
Into the act. Yeah. So sometimes, like maybe you have seen me on Facebook, I mentioned that the giant balloon is like an egg yolk.
Yes.
Yes. Sometimes when I'm using a transparent giant balloon, I will say that that's my capsule for me to go underwater.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
What kind of pump do you use? Is it battery powered, or do you use to plug it in?
I use the one that's plugged in.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm also exploring the one, the grass blower.
Yes.
That runs on battery.
Yeah. That's
These are industry secrets.
Industry secrets. Yes, people. Well, sometimes it's hard to find the right place to plug in the pump, and you need a really long wire.
Yeah, that's right. But I do find that the battery powered blowers they are slightly weaker.
Yes.
Than the ones.
Yeah. How about music requirements for one of these stage shows? How do you play music in the background?
I've got all my music on a MP3 player.
Yeah.
Yeah, on an iPod. I also bring CDs as a backup just in case.
Yeah. Good idea. Very good idea. Good tip for everybody out there.
Yes. Yeah. Always have a backup.
And people might not know about Singapore, people listening around the world, but Singapore is so hot and humid. So if you're performing outdoors, have you got any things you've realised you have to do? If you're sweating so much, sometimes your hands and your ears full of sweat, it's hard to do stuff.
So sometimes in my big magic trunk box, I will keep a towel inside. Yeah, but generally I'm okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I do bring extra clothes to change.
Yes.
I've got many shows on the same day.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yes.
But also, if you got full clown makeup on, you can't really put the towel on your face anyway. You cannot touch it.
No, I can't. But I can dab. Yeah, I can do some simple dabbing.
And if you've got full clown makeup, by the time you've gone into the giant balloon and come out again, that makeup's going to be smudged like crazy.
Not really.
No, you get it out. Oh, there you go.
Yes, so I do know some secret makeup techniques
Ah, clever.
that will keep the makeup on.
Okay. So
Yeah. In fact, a lot of the when I was performing in Hong Kong, a lot of the Hong Kong clowns also shared with me their tips on how to keep the makeup on in the heat.
Great. There you go.
Yeah.
And it was weird that you were in Hong Kong the moment I was in Singapore this year. It's such a shame.
Yeah.
Because you were performing near where I live, at the harbour
wow.
front, I think. Yeah.
The central waterfront.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would be one of your best shows ever? Something that really sticks in your mind.
I've done some really weird ones. You know, in Singapore, we have got this thing we call the Singapore Flyer.
Oh yes.
Which is like the London's what do they call it?
The London Eye.
The London Eye.
So it's a giant, one of those giant Ferris wheels that have become popular in many major cities. Yeah.
Yes. So in this giant Ferris wheel, one revolution, one turn.
Yeah.
Actually takes a half an hour.
Okay.
Alright, so I've actually done a birthday party inside the capsule itself, doing a magic show together with some balloon sculpturing with all the children for 2 revolutions. So that will be for 1 hour.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Which is like so strange because it's like the main part about going up the Singapore Flyer is to enjoy the sights.
Yes.
The kids are like so distracted with they don't know whether to watch my show or to watch the sights.
Oh yeah, and that goes back to one of my earlier questions. That must have been a tricky venue.
Oh yes.
Because it's going to be very small.
Yes.
The ceiling's going to be low.
Yeah.
So, what's
even more challenging is that for your listeners who don't know, for the Singapore Flyer or the London Eye, when the passengers are actually getting onto the capsule to go up, the capsule does not stop. It's just moving very slowly.
Okay.
But everybody needs to get in, and my assistant and I need to push in all our stuff, including the sound equipment.
Within about 10-15 seconds.
Yes.
Okay, that's a weird gig. How do you come up with new ideas? Is originality important for you?
I'm sorry, is what?
Originality. For example, for me, it wasn't actually that important. When I started in 1995, there was no one else really riding unicycle in Singapore, so I did the standard tricks, and that was new for the crowd then.
I think these days being original is very important. But when I mean original, it doesn't mean to come up with something entirely new. I think it's still possible to watch a lot of other people and then take in the basic idea and then make it your own. For me, I draw a lot of ideas from the stuff that I do every day. Funny mistakes that happen to me every day. Just the other day, I bought a packet of food. Right, I was at my kitchen. I was about to to open up the packet of food and start eating. And then I had a bag of trash in my hand.
Oh no!
So when I opened the main trash bin, the main trash bin actually disposes all the trash. Actually goes is being collected. So any trash I threw inside, I cannot retrieve it.
Yeah.
So I actually opened the big trash bin and I actually threw in
the lunch.
My lunch that I just bought instead of throwing away the bag of rubbish. So these are the funny things which I use in my show as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find as you're doing the show you come up with new ideas sometimes, or do you follow the same? Do you have a standard routine that you find is bulletproof that works every time?
No, I actually I will play by ear.
Yeah.
A lot like a street performance.
Yeah.
So I do know how I'm going to start and how I'm going to end.
Yeah.
But in the middle, I always jazz it up. It's a lot like jazz. Yeah. And it's actually some of the funniest things that happen during the show itself.
Yeah.
So I've got this trick whereby I've got these Velcro balls.
Yeah.
And the kids can throw on my head.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah. So that's one of my signatures tricks that I do. I learned it from my Japanese clown teachers. And at a birthday party many years ago, one of the balls actually dropped onto the floor. So I actually bent over to pick it up, while the hat and 2 balls were still on the head. And then one naughty child just reached out and then grabbed one of the balls on my head and pulled off the whole hat. And that was like so funny that everybody was laughing. I think it's very similar to how a clown would lose his wig.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that part was so funny that ever since then I've actually included that purposely into the show itself.
Wow. just something that you probably know. 1997, I got some butt heads from Hamley's toy shop in London, which was a hat with Velcro and balls that stuck on it.
Oh, okay.
And it was great. I loved it. It was really good, really fun prop. But then it got a bit old, so I wanted to buy a new one.
Yeah.
And they'd made a new design, and it wasn't as sticky anymore. It's really annoying. So when next time I see you, I'll have to find where you get a good sticky one.
I actually get it tailored myself.
Oh, there you are.
So I'll just buy a bare cap, and then I will get a tailor to just sew on the Velcro for me.
Yeah. And what kind of balls do you use?
So one side, so the hat has got the hooks on it.
Mm.
So the ball, I just use a standard plastic ball, and I will add in the.
There you make your own, of course.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I think my Japanese teachers use something like a woolen type of a material for the ball.
Yeah, that's what I had when I bought it from a toy shop 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah. Sometimes I really hate it that when I buy a prop that's really good, and then when it gets old or damaged, and then I try to find back the same item, it's no longer.
I know, it was so annoying, it's so frustrating.
Yeah, so annoying.
Because they used to make it really well, and then they changed the manufacturer, and it wasn't as good anymore. The ball would just bounce off my head and wouldn't stay on. So I stopped using that gag. I like it though. It was called a butt head. It was from a toy shop in England. So you come up with new ideas during the shows sometimes with the happy accidents.
Yes,
Do you also rehearse off stage at all? Do you practice things? Do you have a rehearsal space?
Yeah, so I'm actually using my home, my flat as an office as well.
Yeah.
So I've got a room for doing the office work. So I've got one room where I keep all my props, and I also use that as my practice and training room. Yeah.
I've seen you've got lots and lots of instructional videos appearing on YouTube.
Yes.
With a blue background and some curtains. Is that a real backdrop in your room somewhere?
It actually sets up pretty fast.
Yeah.
So I will set it up whenever I need it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So you
So what I will do is I will also film myself using the iPhone.
Yeah.
And then rewatch it.
Yeah. Okay, and the backdrop, did you make it or can you buy those backdrops? Because they're nice for video.
Yeah, you can buy those.
Buy those, great. Love it. Alright, clown, so some topical stuff. Clown horror movies, Pennywise, clown horror pranks. Has that had any impact on you? The anti-clown movement of the last few years?
I naturally do not approve of such movies.
Yeah.
But I've seen the trailer for this upcoming movie, and it's great. It was great. So I might actually watch it.
Yeah.
Just for the fun of it. I sometimes do like horror movies if they are well made. But generally speaking, I think the movie makers or the producers are just simply using it as a tool to make money. So I can't really fault them on it.
Yeah.
But personally, I don't like the idea of them using scary clowns to try to sell a show, of course.
Yeah. For those of people who are listening who don't know what I'm talking about, I guess about maybe a year and a half or 2 years ago, people started making viral videos dressing up as clowns and scaring people. And more recently, there's a movie coming out, Pennywise, with a scary, very scary clown. And I mean, some clowns around the world started talking about this, saying, "Oh, it's not too good for us because everybody's getting even more scared of us now." But I don't think it really matters. I think some children have always been a bit nervous of a clown makeup. I remember back in 1995, I would wear clown makeup at birthday parties all the time. And after a while I realised that some kids were just always scared of it, so when I did the birthday parties, I decided to just wear a red nose and a colourful costume, but no actual clown makeup on my face, and that was fine.
Yeah. In fact, most of the time when I perform in Singapore, I don't actually have my makeup on.
Yeah, I see you've got two websites, two main characters, Captain Dazzle and Captain Bubbles.
Yes, that's right. So Captain Bubbles, the website is actually the SingaporeClown.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that
The
would
thing
be
is-
if someone wants a full clown makeup, then you present Captain Bubbles. But most of the time, you would do Captain Dazzle, who is a
Yes.
colourful character but hasn't got the full clown makeup on.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's also how I position myself in the market, because sometimes in Singapore, which is kind of strange, I think it's a situation which is unique to Singapore. Sometimes when I mention that it's going to be a clown show, and then there will be they will have the impression that that the show that I will be coming in the clown. No, wait a minute. Okay, no, when I'm doing my Captain Dazzle's magic and juggling show, it's actually essentially a clown show.
Yes.
Yes.
Just because you're not having got the full white makeup on doesn't mean it's not a clown show.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And so people expect you to come in full clown makeup sometimes.
Yeah. It's actually easy. It's actually much easier to sell the show if I say that it's going to be a comedy, magic, and juggling act rather than saying that it's a clown.
Yeah, confusion.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yes,
you
yes.
get all kinds of confusion. Yes.
Yeah. I think when it comes to scary clowns being scaring people, now these scary clowns are not real clowns. They are just people dressing up to look like scary clowns. Yeah. I think it's important to differentiate that.
Yeah, I mean, if you've had a horror movie where there's a doctor cutting people up, that's not a real. Yeah, it's not really
Yeah.
what doctors do.
At the same time, I think it's even more important as real clowns, the professional clowns, to go out there and do more work to educate the public and to show other people that there are real and good clowns that exist.
Yeah, I mean, there's whole things such as people like I don't know if you've heard of the Dr. Patch Adams, who started going into hospitals with very, very sick children and entertaining them with clown tricks. There's lots of wonderful things that clowns can do, bringing happiness. Yeah. Your costumes are great. Where do you get them? Are they self-made or self-designed?
I actually buy them from the US.
There you are.
Yeah.
Do you have a favourite company you buy them from?
Yeah. Pricilla Mooseburger.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
So she makes a lot of professional clown costumes for clowns. She has also got a summer line for clowns who do work a lot more in the summer.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's
And,
interesting. Okay, how do I spell the name? Priscilla, I got. And Mooseburger?
Mooseburger.
How do you spell that?
So you have the moose.
Yeah, okay. And burger.
And you have the burger. Yeah.
Okay, there we are. I'll put that in the notes. How about you have a puppet monkey, maybe, is it?
I've got a few different puppets. Yes. I buy them from a few different companies, but the main one that I get from is from Steve Axtell.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know those. Okay, I'll put that in the notes. Brilliant. And how
What's interesting about the costumes is that once I purchase them from Pricilla, when they are here in Singapore, I do need to bring them to a local tailor
Oh,
to do some minor adjustments.
okay.
Yeah, because sometimes I think the clowns in US they tend to be a lot bigger and
Of
fatter.
course, different body build. Yeah, a Caucasian is generally bigger than a Singaporean, which you are.
Yeah. So now that I've got a slimmer figure, sometimes I do need minor adjustments to the costumes.
That's good.
Yeah.
You're obviously in shape.
Yeah.
How about your magic box? Is that designed and made by you, or
I
do you?
think right now in Singapore there are quite a lot of good magic box manufacturers. I think in Malaysia as well. But for mine, I've been using this one from the US.
Does it come with? I guess I would call it a pedestal. Do you know what I'm meaning? It's on a stand.
Yeah, the one that connects the base, which is the lid, to the box. Yeah.
So so instead of having to bend down and pick stuff off out of the floor or put your box onto a table, it turns almost into a one-legged table.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. I bought that from David Charvet.
Okay, I'll Google that and find it out. Yeah.
I will just text it over to you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether he's still making though.
I
I think he's also a very old guy.
Yeah. Any tips about boxes and package and transport? Is it hard to get around with a heavy box of tricks?
When it comes to performance, I think everyone is different.
Yeah.
So the box has to fit your show and your own style.
Yeah.
I do prefer to perform with an open top box, which means to say when I'm performing on stage, I can just look right in and that's the top and I can see everything in my box.
Yes.
There are some performers who prefer to have the opening of the box on the side.
Yeah.
So that they will have to bend over and then they will take the props from the inside. But I don't like that style because for a few seconds the performer actually disappears from view.
Now my box is open from the top as well. I prefer just to look down into them.
Yeah. So it depends on the individual performers. Yeah.
And how about music for birthday parties? Do you have to provide? Do you bring along any kind of speaker, or do you have music at the birthday parties?
Yes, I do. So I do have my own speaker. So I'll use that for my own music as well as for my microphone.
What's your brand?
Mipro.
Mipro. There we go.
That's Mipro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people call it Mipro or Mipro. It's the same. It's a Taiwanese company.
Okay. And
I think every entertainer in Singapore is using that.
is it really popular in Singapore right now?
Yeah.
When I was in Singapore 20 years ago, it was the Chio was the popular one. Yeah, Mipro.
Yeah.
And you have a real rabbit, is that right?
Yes.
Wow.
I actually have got 4 rabbits at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they do take turns to work.
Now this is something I've done lots of things over my 30-year career, but I've never had live animals in my show. So this would be just for me. Tell me the ins and outs of bringing a rabbit to a show. I guess rabbits are like doves. They're quite docile and they stay still and they don't mind being in a little dark space for a while. And then you bring them out and they're not going to attack the kids. Am I right in just guessing that's the general?
That's the general.
The general benefit of the rabbit.
Yes. But if you one of the things to consider is that increasingly there are people who are against the idea of using animals.
Yes.
Yes. So that is one thing to consider. Because a lot of circuses has been closing.
Yeah. Just recently.
Like the Ringling Brothers.
Yes, just this year.
Closed because of they can't use the elephants anymore.
Yeah.
So that used to be a draw for them. But for me, when I'm using the rabbit, I'm very careful with it. I'm also using it as an opportunity to teach the children how to care.
Yeah.
And how to handle the rabbit. But I still do face sometimes some questions from some parents and customers.
Yeah.
And I'm actually pretty lucky because yes, the rabbit is actually quite safe, as well as the rabbit has got enough breathing air in the device that you're going to use to produce the rabbit. But what is good for me and what is fortunate for me is that my assistant, who is also my wife, she will actually load the rabbit into the device only 5 minutes before the rabbit's appearance.
So you do a rabbit production
Yes.
effect.
Yes.
And
so the rabbit is not loaded in at the start of the show. But I think a lot of entertainers have no choice because they don't work with an assistant.
yes.
So I think a lot of them would still have to load in the bunny
In
before
secret
the-
beforehand.
Yeah.
Long before.
There are also a lot of different devices in the market. So some are better than others. For example, some has got better air circulation for the rabbits and a larger space.
That's fascinating. See, this is stuff I had no idea about.
Yeah.
Any makes or names that I can put in the notes? Any companies that specialize in this?
My favorite rabbit production device right now is made by this guy called Tommy. Let me see.
That's okay. We can put it. We can sort it out later. Yeah.
I will find the link and send it to you.
Okay, I want to jump in. You have an assistant who is your wife. Fantastic.
Yes.
My wife has no interest in my shows whatsoever, and she's way too busy to help.
Yeah.
So, did you start shows when you began without an assistant? When you began your career?
Actually, I always had an assistant.
Always.
It's just that my wife is didn't used to be the one.
And what?
When I started out in college, I had my friends to help me.
Mm.
So they are like doing part time.
Yeah.
For me. So once I finished my college, I actually managed to train up quite a good crew of young people, poly students, secondary school students who were pretty good, and they helped me throughout all these years. And a lot of them have just started their work, so they have actually been helping me for like a good 8-10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, I've always been one man. I've always been someone who tries to carry everything by myself, or one-man company.
Yeah.
But I can definitely see the advantage of having a system, because it frees you up for so many things, that extra stuff you can do. You don't have to, if you want someone to do a musical cue, you don't have to do it yourself. Your assistant knows when to do it. But
yes.
But you've got the extra expense of paying another human being, and you want to pay them well. And yet you don't have a budget, because the organisers are going to say, we're paying for you, we're not going to pay for 2 people. So it's hard, isn't it?
Yes, it is hard. It is hard.
Yeah.
It is hard, yeah. And sometimes it's not good to be too reliant on an assistant.
Right.
Because you never know, something might happen to him.
Yeah.
In between shows or during the show. Yeah. So sometimes I do have my apprehensions about relying too much.
Yeah.
On it. And when I'm going overseas, like to Hong Kong,
yes,
or to China, there's no way I can bring an assistant.
You can't afford to bring an assistant, no.
Oh, yeah.
So then you've got to do it all yourself.
Yes.
And you can manage that?
Yeah. I try to do tricks that I don't use assistants.
Yeah. So I guess you said students, poly students. Yes, you can. Then they're willing to work and have the enthusiasm to do the work and get the experience. And maybe the pay isn't quite as important, that they don't get paid a huge amount, because you can't afford to pay them a huge amount. And then, of course, you've hit the brilliant idea of using your wife. Does she charge a lot?
She actually works with me in the business.
Yeah.
Because I'm really bad with all the money matters.
Right.
So she handles everything.
Oh yeah, that's another thing that entertainers, people who are just thinking of starting out.
Yeah.
Most of our work, actually, we work for half an hour here, 1 hour here, 1 hour there on stage. But hours and hours and hours every day are spent in the office doing emails and making promotional videos and calling clients.
Yeah.
And your wife is good at that stuff.
Yeah, she's good at that stuff.
Brilliant. Your puppets, do you do ventriloquism at all?
Yes, I do.
Oh, fantastic. Where did you learn that?
Online courses.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, when I began, it was so hard to learn anything new like that. But nowadays, you just go onto YouTube and you find courses, and you can find people teaching you. Yeah.
YouTube too now. These days, you can learn a lot of stuff from YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. Yes. What are your? Let's talk about something in a lot of detail before we get too far into this interview. Let's talk about doing one of your shows. So, do you have a favourite kind of show? Do you prefer birthday parties? Do you prefer stage shows? Do you have a favourite show that you do?
Actually, I do like doing both the stage shows for family days as well as the birthday parties. I think both have got their own unique attractions.
All right.
Yeah. I do like children, so they have always been my target audience.
All right. So let's say you invited to a birthday party. How do you arrive? Do you set up while the kids are watching, or do you just kind of wait outside until it's your time and then you come racing in and boom, the show begins?
I try to set out as much things as possible before the show. But when I am ready to go in, I will check with the client, usually the mummy, if all the children have arrived. Because there are some cases whereby the children, we are still waiting for some more children to arrive.
Okay.
For the party. In that case, I would start off by doing some balloon sculpturing first. For the children who are already present. This also gives me a chance to interact with the kids.
Yeah.
So I'll know which are the children that are going to be likely to help me later during the showtime.
Okay, I've got lots of things to talk about there. Yes, interacting with the kids is very useful. You can see who's going to be the best at being volunteers.
Yeah.
You can also, of course, check which one the birthday child is, so you make sure you feature them. Yes. You can also spot maybe who might be really, if they're going to be some really hyperactive, troublesome kids.
Yeah.
And you can put on, early warning detection system there.
Yes.
And so you say you like to set up as much as you can before the show. So do you mean you go into the stage area, the room, and you set up a few boxes and sound system, and then you go outside, or?
No.
So you wait outside.
Yeah.
So you set things up outside.
Yeah. If it's going to be a house and the guests and the children are inside the house, I'll do my setup outside.
I see.
Yeah.
So you can bring it in. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And do you ever find that if you're starting and there aren't enough kids there and you do the balloons, do you run into some problems where, for example, if I like that idea, but I sometimes find that if I make a few kids balloons at the start, then suddenly they all want balloons. Or I also find another problem is if I make balloons, sometimes they're just waving them around when the show begins, and the people behind can't see through the balloons. Do you have any tips? Have you anything you've got there?
So I will tell the children just before the showtime, before they sit, that they need to put their balloons aside.
Yeah.
Either to their mummies or daddies,
Yes.
because they need their hands to clap.
There you are.
And
Solve the
they
problem.
need their fingers to wriggle and say the magic words to make the magic happen. So I do need their hands to be free.
Yes. You've solved the problem. Brilliant. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. And how does the show begin? When the children are there, how do you start your show?
So I will start by doing some funny bits by introducing myself. I will highlight the birthday child.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I will see that if the birthday child, I'll ask how old the birthday child is, and he'll say that he's 6. Then I will try to create a bit of a connection. Oh, you are 6. I'm 6 too.
Yes.
They create some funny bits. And then I will usually start off for my show right now. I'm trying to use everyday objects in my show. What I mean is that if I'm going to juggle, instead of juggling balls or clubs, I like to juggle things that they know. For example, fruits.
Yes.
Yes. So I think it's much funnier if I can juggle with things that they can immediately identify with.
Yes.
Because nowadays the children are they're like so savvy and so intelligent. If you take out something that looks like a prop, they know it has got a secret compartment or something.
Yeah. Okay. How does the show progress? Does it have do you have so you've introduced yourself, you've done some funny stuff like how old are you? You're 6, I'm 6 too. And then you have juggling with fruit.
Yeah. So I'm juggling, then I will do the funny bit. Then one of the fruits or one of the balls I will throw it really high.
Yeah.
And then land on my head.
Yeah.
Right. And then I say, ouch, that hurts.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna need a helmet. So that's the time I bring out the hat.
Oh yes. This is the hat with the Velcro on, which balls can stick onto.
Yes.
Do the children throw the balls at you?
In a controlled manner.
Yeah, I'd imagine that could quite easily get out of control.
Yes, in a controlled manner. So the birthday child gets 1.
Yeah.
And then I will select 2 more kids to help me. Based on their applause.
Yeah.
It is in a controlled manner because it will get crazy if all the children go.
Yes. Yeah, you've got to be very controlled at a birthday party. I find
Yeah.
I find a stage show I can go wild, pretty wild,
Yes.
but a
Yes.
birthday party you can't go wild
Yeah.
because otherwise the kids are going to go wild and you can't control 25 kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can probably go a bit wild towards the end part of the show.
Yes.
But definitely not the front.
Oh, I agree. Good tip.
Yes. Yeah.
So where are we now? We're in 20 minutes into your show, 10 minutes into your show now?
About 15 minutes.
Okay.
So I try to do a lot of different things in my show. So I will always have some juggling. I will always have some magic.
Yeah.
I will also do some puppetry. When I mention puppetry, I not only do the ventriloquism, I also do the Axtell's magic drawing board.
Oh yes, the magic drawing board. It's a drawing that can talk. Yes.
Yeah, I actually have the one that goes by remote control.
Oh, lovely.
So I actually do not need to be near the drawing board at all.
Brilliant.
That's also one of the ways I try to differentiate myself from the other performers in the market.
Sure, because that's quite a common. Well, it's not common, but it's a thing that I've seen a few times at birthday parties.
Yeah.
So you've got one with remote control, so you don't need to stand near the board. It can talk to you
Yes.
from far away. That's great.
The remote control is actually the eraser.
Ah.
So I can control the board, or sometimes if the children are very clever or very intelligent, what I will do is I'll just give the entire eraser to my wife.
Ah, yes.
Who's on
Yes.
the side. So she knows the cues on when to press to activate it as well.
Again, that's such a good use of having an assistant. Shows you the advantages. Because some of the clever children, the very smart ones, will realise you're pressing the eraser,
Yeah.
and they'll want to take it.
Yes.
So
I've never been caught though.
no, good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, if your wife's got the eraser and she's at the side, no one's going to notice. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you've got the talking picture,
Yes.
and this is like 20. How long is the show part of your
My show's
party?
about half an hour.
Half an hour. So do
And
you
I'll
have?
always, yeah.
So do you have a middle part? Is the talking with the puppets maybe?
Yeah.
And then do you have an ending to your show?
There will also be a part whereby I will have the birthday child up to help me
Yes.
to do a
Yes.
magic trick. That
Yes.
is important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. Definitely, we must have that. I think when I'm doing my show, I'm always thinking about entertaining them, at the same time empowering them. So when I'm doing my juggling routines, including like doing spinning plates, I like to give the attention to the child who is helping me. I want him to feel that that he's empowered, that he's able to achieve something.
Yeah.
I'm going to get everybody to clap for him. I think these are important stuff.
Yes, I think it's one of those very interesting points about bringing volunteers on stage. I think if you've got kids on stage, you've got to make them look good. I think any volunteer on stage, you've got to make them feel comfortable. Otherwise, it's not going to look good. Although I think sometimes, especially if you get a dad at a birthday party, and you play it by ear, but sometimes you can mess around with the dad and make him look a bit foolish, and that works. But that's probably the only situation where you can make the volunteer look silly.
Yeah.
But you have to play it by ear, really do.
Yes. Yeah, you got to manage it really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because some people would say, "Oh no, never make the volunteer look silly," but actually, sometimes when the volunteer looks silly and it's the dad, it's the best part of the show.
Yes.
So yeah, I think it's a rule that can be broken.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you do with naughty kids? If you get kids who are really just running around behind you trying to steal stuff, trying to disrupt the show?
Yeah. So right before the showtime, I will quickly take a look around and see if any of such kids exist.
Yeah.
So once they are seated down, if he or she is really causing trouble, I've got many steps to do with it. The first step that I would do is get the child's name first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when you address him by his name, and then you give him a specific instruction,
Yeah.
saying that if he's disrupting the show, he's actually affecting the show.
Mm.
The rest of his friends are not enjoying the show.
Mm.
So that is the first step that I would take.
So you would use his name and just point out, without getting angry, you'd point out that he's disrupting the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So trying to put him in I'm trying to rationalize with him.
Yes.
Yeah. So to give him a reason to calm down.
Yes. Rationalize with him.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. If that doesn't work, my next step was to try to move him. I'm going to try to encourage him to sit at the back.
Yes. I like this, but I find unless I do it really early on, they don't want to move to the back.
So sometimes if before the show I can see that he might be causing problems, so I might invite him to sit at the back first.
Yes, I agree.
Usually they are the boys.
Yeah.
So what I would do is I'll have the boys to sit behind the girls, so the girls will sit in front of the boys.
That's a good general rule. Yeah, just.
But I don't tell it to them why I do so. The only reason I tell them is because you boys are so much taller and bigger.
Oh, lovely! Present it to them that way.
So if you sit in front of the girls, you're gonna block the girls' view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Even if it's not true, it seems to work. Yes. So you say, generally speaking, sit the girls at the front. And generally speaking, say, as you boys are taller and bigger, you'll need to sit at the back.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. I like that. What a good tip.
Yeah. And another good thing about having an assistant is that I can tell my wife to speak privately with the child.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Because during the show, I cannot use any harsh words on the child.
Of course you can't, no.
Yeah, but my wife can use a slightly harsher tone with the child.
Yes, because no one will listen to her. She can quietly and firmly say, behave yourself.
Yes, and I'm dressed as the entertainer, so some children has the impression that you can just make fun of the entertainer. You can there's no boundary.
Yes.
But the moment an adult, my wife will be in her work clothes. So when my wife speaks to the child does not see my wife as an entertainer.
No. Yeah, I agree. This is lovely. I've been doing this for so many years. I'm still learning things. I like that. Girls at the front, boys at the
back. Yeah.
Do you do that generally at most shows?
Generally I don't.
Generally you don't. But if you see the boys are being quite wild, then you'll say, let's put the boys at the back because you're bigger and. Yeah, I like it. See, it's a constant battle for me, even after doing it for so many years. Generally, I say, do you want the big show, the big exciting show, or the small boring show? And of course, they all want the big exciting show. So I say, if you want the big exciting show, you have to give me a bigger space. So that way, I've got an extra maybe 2 or 3 meters between me and the audience. And even if the naughty boys are sitting at the front, they can't get at me without me seeing them walking forwards. But still, sometimes they start to edge forwards, so I have to move them back again. So it's a big show, guys. That's one thing that I do in the seating arrangements. I say, if they want the big show, give me a big space. And then if they are far away, then they can't. I mean, it's not that far away. It's only another metre. But it means they can't start pulling my trousers down and stealing things from my box. All right. So you do that. You've done the show part. Is there a big finish to your show? Do you have you said earlier that you know the beginning and you know the end of your show, but you might improvise in the middle. So what is the ending?
For birthday parties, it's always going to be the rabbit.
Ah. So you produce a rabbit, magical effect.
Yes.
And then you let the kids pet the rabbit for some time.
Yeah. I do have to put it at the end because once it appears, regardless of whether it's boys or girls or whether they are shy or not, they will almost always jump out.
Yeah. Hey, do you ever get rabbit droppings?
I don't.
Don't? Okay.
I don't. Yeah, but it's fine. When that happens, or when the rabbit pees, I will just show it to the kids. Then I just tell them, do you know what this is? They're wondering. Then I'll just tell them, that's just rabbit poo or rabbit pee. Yeah, and then it gets a good laugh. And I say, and I'll say, what? There's something funny about that. I mean, all of us are poos and peas.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just use that. I'll just use that in my show.
You never tried the raisin gag where you drop some raisins down amongst the droppings and start eating them? So the show finishes with the rabbit. Then you got the kids petting the rabbit.
Yeah.
Wow, I've never.
Now, when the kids pet the rabbit, because it's usually going to be quite chaotic.
Yeah.
Again, I go back to the idea of the boys and the girls. So I'll have the boys to form one straight line, and I'll have the girls to form another straight line.
Yes.
And then usually I would say ladies first.
Yeah.
And then I'll have the girls to pet the rabbit. But at the same time, while the girls are petting the rabbit, I also verbally thank the boys for being so patient.
Yes. And that, of course, by having them in a queue, you won't have the mad rush, hopefully, of everybody trying to pet the rabbit at the same time. And it also means that you can systematically make sure that everybody has a go who wants to have a go.
Yeah.
And that means you've got an ending as well to that part of the show, because everybody's petted the rabbit. So I guess you say goodbye to the rabbit, yeah? Okay, that's lovely. And then what's the next part? You must be nearing the end of the party by now.
So it depends whether if I've done the balloon sculpturing or not. If I haven't done the balloon sculpturing, we will follow up with the balloon sculpturing.
Okay.
But if the balloon sculpturing is already done, what I will do is once everybody has pet the rabbit, in fact I even give the children a chance to take photos with the rabbit.
Right.
Some of the parents may want to snap a picture. Of the kids with the rabbit, and then I will also have hand sanitizer for the children. Because some parents may be concerned that the rabbit may not be clean.
Yes.
So I always provide hand sanitizer.
That's a good idea, even though it's not necessary. Provide it, and then you're safe.
Yeah. Because rabbits are generally very clean.
Yes.
So if there's no balloon sculpturing, once everybody is done cleaning their hands, I will inform the mom, the client, to prepare the birthday cake. And I'll help her to.
Okay, let's jump back a bit. So let's say you're doing the balloon sculpting. Again, do you go for a queue, or do you have another technique to avoid a queue? Yeah.
A queue. Yeah. Sometimes I may organize the queue according to their age. So from the youngest to the oldest.
Okay.
But the birthday child will always get his or her one first.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Does your wife help assist in any way with the queue?
She helps to do the balloon sculpturing too.
Faster. That's
actually
great.
She does the inflation.
And
then I will do the twisting.
So I don't often do balloons at parties anymore. I generally fill the hour with show and games. But when I do the balloons, if I know I have to do balloons, often I pre-inflate them into a big bag, because otherwise it becomes twice as long if you've got to pump each balloon up. If your wife's there as your assistant, brilliant.
I'm trying to do away with the balloon sculpturing as well.
Sometimes I just feel like an overworked shop assistant with a balloon sculpting. They're coming up. I want this. I want that. I want this. I want that.
Yeah. And there are a lot of balloon sculptors out there who are doing a much better job at doing balloons.
I agree. Same for me. Yeah, it's not my specialty.
Yeah.
I generally say the first balloons are dogs and swords. If you want something else, wait to the end. And generally speaking, I've done all the dogs and swords, and that's pretty much it. So it's pretty fast.
Yeah. I think it's much better to focus on our performance.
Yes.
What we do best,
Yeah. I mean, some people, like you say, some people are really, really good at making complex balloons, and that's their job. They're not doing a show. They're in the corner of the queue, and they're there for many, many hours, and the kids can go whenever they want. But if you're there as a 1 hour performer, you don't want to spend half an hour with a queue making balloons, because it's better to do a show if you can do a show.
Yeah.
Alright, so moving on to the birthday cake then, the big finish. Do you have any special techniques for the birthday cake?
I don't think so. I've got a birthday song.
There you are.
Yeah,
me too. Yeah. Do you how do you arrange the photo taking? Do you have any problems with photo taking?
You mean for the birthday child and his family?
Yeah.
Okay, what I do is I do not gather the children until the family photos are done.
Yeah, I agree. It's amazing, isn't it? You work in different countries, but you come up with the same solution.
Yeah.
For me, the very first, I get the if I'm doing the birthday cake, and I don't always do the birthday cake because I often say to the parents, look, if you want me to do more show and more games, I'll do that, and you can do the birthday cake yourself. But sometimes the parents say, oh, we want you to organise the cake. So yeah, I'll get the birthday mum, the birthday dad, the birthday child, and birthday siblings behind the cake and take that photo first before anything else. Because sometimes it just becomes chaos. All the kids are rushing around all over the place, and you don't get a decent photo of the birthday family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But I do have some customers who don't need the family photo at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
But I think most of the Chinese customers they usually do want the family photo.
Yeah, I know it's a cultural thing. Because my wife is Singaporean Chinese, and I noticed at birthday parties and birthdays, the birthday cake and the birthday photo is the most important thing for my wife. Whereas I come from England, whereas the most important thing for us, I'm ashamed to say, was getting presents. That was the really big thing. The birthday cake, we didn't care about photos. The birthday cake, we cared about having we got presents.
Yeah.
That was the only time of the year we got lots of toys. And you're done with the cake, and I guess the crowd's pretty much dispersed by then because you've finished the show, you've done the cake, you can just quietly and easily leave. Is that right?
Yes. Before I go, I always have stickers for the kids.
Ah, yeah.
And these are specially printed stickers that has got my website.
Oh, lovely.
Contact information on them as well.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Well, I'm glad we got to that.
Yeah.
Because the last thing I do is, as I'm leaving, I go around the room politely giving out my name cards to the mums and dads. But giving out stickers with your information on is wonderful.
Yeah. So I have the stickers for the children, and if the parents ask, I'll have a card for them.
Yeah. Is there a company that makes those, or is it a local company in Singapore prints those?
Local Singapore company that prints the stickers.
Yeah.
But the artwork is done by a US artist.
Yeah, fantastic. Oh, I like that. That's a great idea.
Yeah. I think what's more important is that we do a good job during the show itself. I think the show will sell itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not too concerned about, for me, just personally, I'm not too concerned about trying to push my brochures or my name cards to parents.
Yeah.
Because I think if they are there and they see the show, and if they need my services, they will just Google and find me fairly easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about marketing then. So word of mouth, doing a good show, people will look for you again.
Yeah.
And they'll hear your name, Captain Dazzle, and they'll Google Captain Dazzle, I guess.
Yes.
Is there any other ways that marketing has worked for you?
Facebook.
Facebook, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I noticed you on Facebook. You're quite you post a lot of interesting stuff on Facebook.
Yeah. So that's a bit tricky because one of these days I'm going to run out of interesting things to post.
Nah, you'll have to do things every day.
Yeah. So the having a Facebook page allows me to remain connected.
Yeah.
To my customer base.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm just trying to make use of technology to help me to market and advertise as well. I think being an entertainer, full-time entertainer, it's important to have the skills.
Yeah.
And then it's important to have the business skills as well.
Yes.
And then both must go.
People say show business. It's two words: the show and there's the business. Hopefully, next time I'm in Singapore, and I come there once or twice a year, we'll meet up and have a drink and something like that. It'd be really good.
That would be awesome.
All right. You take care. Have a great show this afternoon.
Yeah.
And I'll let you know when your podcast comes out. It won't take long.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. All the best. Bye bye.
Bye.